Hey, folks. Welcome to another episode of Let's Build Our Tech Business 10 Pal 6 Road to Profit series. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about our identity solution choices, and we'll do a little whiteboarding for some preliminary designs on our blog hosting service. So, when we're looking at identity, one of the things we have to consider is you really shouldn't be rolling out your own auth system, especially as a solo dev here. There's just a lot of intricacies involved with that, and it's a lot easier to farm that out to a already existing system. So we can look at a couple avenues here: third-party SaaS and then also self-hosted. So when I was looking at a couple of these options, keep in mind one of our goals is to allow a single sign-on across all of our websites and services. So this is going to be kind of a key aspect here. So one of the first ones I looked at was actually KeyCloak. It's established open source software. It does kind of give us that check off on single sign-on. Allows for social logins, etc. The one downside to this is being self-hosted. That does provide more overhead, i.e., I'm going to have to manage it. So if we look at like a deployment architecture, it has a nice container I can deploy out to Fargate, so I'm able to scale as needed. But if we're looking at like pricing, just running off the ground, since Fargate task will have to run for 24/7, looking at a cost of like $165 a month, and being as I'm trying to bootstrap this as cheap as possible, I'm pretty much leaning towards a no here. Looked at a couple other services out there in the kind of SaaS-based realm. We have Ori. I like the pricing model on this. It ends up being cheaper than some of the ones I'm familiar with, like Auth0. So they charge by daily active users versus the monthly active users. And they do have a free plan. One of the things I didn't like here while I was evaluating them, free plan, no SSO essentially. And then also, I want to say, let's see, sign up login. I can't actually recall if they had multi-factor, but pretty much the lack of SSO here kind of ruled them out. It's looking at Citadel. It's a somewhat newer player in the space. I think they came out like 3 years ago. They just raised a round of funding, I think like $3 million. So they're probably not as big compared to some of the others, but they are kind of gaining traction and velocity. One of the things that really appealed to me here was they're kind of baking in this model of security first at the forefront. So even on your free tier, you have kind of that multi-factor authentication and everything. And from what I saw, it also allows kind of that single sign-on capability, which is important to me. Price-wise, they have the different tiers. One of the cool things here is it is an open source project, so long-term, if I wanted to, I could self-host. Thought I had some pricing for this, but I guess I may have deleted it out. I think, let me pull it up real quick. Citadel.com. And if I go to pricing, if we do, let's say 7,000 users, let me snip this real quick and then paste it out here. So on Pro, 7,000 users, that will run me about $400 a month. Given that I'll be working for a while on free tier, this should be fine. Auth, which was acquired by Okta. I've used this several times, actually, for previous projects. It's easy to work with. I do like it. It has the universal login and everything that I can utilize here. There's a lot of complaints kind of on their pricing model, especially when you grow to some of the higher amounts of users. From my understanding, there's no like discount for bulk users. Couple pieces with like the multi-factor authentication not being baked in as well, and the extra cost there. Just made me want to look for probably some alternatives on this go around. Clerk, I didn't dive too deeply into it. I do like their pricing model again, but again here we're baking in extra costs just to do like multi-factor authentication, and that's one of the, I guess, important things I'd like to provide my users. I feel like it's, this day and age, kind of a basic necessity for all logins. And as you can see here, again, free plan doesn't have that MFA, pro plan doesn't even. But we do have some of the basic features here. Cognito, I'm not going to go into this much. I've actually used this product at a couple of my work projects, and to be honest, I'm pretty biased against it. I haven't had too great of an experience here. There's just so much lacking currently when you compare it to some of these third-party SaaS solutions. So I think I'm just gonna say nope, all gone. From a note though, I'm probably leaning towards Zitadale here. I do want to give this a try. I need to register for the site, read through some of their docs, and see if this is going to be a viable option. As fallback, I'll go to the, I guess, tried and true for me on Auth. I'm going to avoid self-hosting just because I'm trying to keep costs low every month. Otherwise, I would have seriously considered looking at this. So let's talk a little bit about our blog hosting site. All right, sweet. Got a nice little marker here. So I have a user. And pretty much they're going to have username, then their password, and that's going to get them to their main page here. This is like a management portal. Course unauthed. Excuse my terrible drawing here. This will essentially just be landing page. This is going to be probably a React SPA. So let's talk a little bit about what happens here on the management portal. So as a user, I think I'm going to want to be able to, let's say, I may just use this for now because it can actually be readable. So as a user, I want to be able to create blogs. I want to be able to manage my blogs. And then probably that entails essentially like update pages. So what I'm thinking of here, pretty much when I do create, it's going to give basic list of metadata for that. And then it's going to be like a manage panel here. Like say, hey, here's my pages. Here's my settings, which is going to be tied to likely some theme options. And then as you work on each of these pages, what you're going to have is a embedded markdown editor here. So the user's going to be doing his editing, everything. Click save. And what this does is it triggers a CI/CD workflow. And this CI/CD workflow essentially kicks off Pelican, which is our static site generator. Let me find and paste the link for this real quick. So that's Pelican. So what this will do is build out pretty much a bunch of HTML files. Of course, we're going to need some upload functionality for some of the media assets. And once I get those HTML assets, the CI/CD is going to stick those in a S3 bucket. And then from a user perspective, we have CloudFront here with our S3 as the origin. And this is going to be something like blah/user. So they have a slug, and then that's going to serve out all the HTML pages. So one of the pieces we're going to need to think through here is general pricing. I'm thinking, I don't know, even $1 a month. And that's going to get you maybe up to X blogs. We can do a higher tier, probably X blogs in size as far as space, now that I think about it. Might even track bandwidth. And then, let's see, higher tier, I don't know, $2 a month, whatever. That's going to get us more bandwidth, and that's going to give you the ability to create more blogs. And then maybe even some add-on service, whatever that might be. What we could do is like, I don't know, a blog post generator. Access. So yeah, think through kind of what the pricing model will be, but at its core, I think each tier will have a set amount of blogs you can create, and then size and bandwidth associated with that. Yeah, it's pretty basic ecosystem overall. From an architectural standpoint, we'll need our CI/CD stack. We'll need CloudFront, S3 for the React apps, and then also probably our users. This is multi-region, so it has resiliency there. This is going to be making calls out to our selected auth system, which is going to be Citadel, hopefully. And then, let's see. For API related stuff, I mean, I'm just going to do our typical serverless API gateway, Lambda. Then for queuing, I'll do SQS. I don't think we're going to be at the scale where I need any crazy stuff here. Probably have DynamoDB for metadata. I don't really need much relational stuff here. And that's kind of the foundations of where we're going on this. I think for now, kind of a little chaotic and hectic, but these were my initial thoughts on it. And yeah, hopefully this was interesting. So if you enjoyed the video, be sure to comment, like, and subscribe. All right. Cheers, folks.